And welcome everybody to day 2 of WCG 2019 live from Xi'an. It is our grand finals. I'm Alexander Opal Archambault. Joining me for the cast is Pyra Technics. How you doing, Devin Young?
I like the little I'm gonna put my mic down actually. I know I need to about 2 seconds to make that happen. I like that you kind of took a nice little pause in between my name. You extended the hyphenation. It was really nice. It was very personal touch from you, Opal. I'm great, man. We had a very short night, a quick turnaround coming into day 2, but we are ready for more Honor of Kings action. And honestly, all the teams from China here, the local squads, they are the ones to beat.
Yeah, especially considering last night we had KSSC practically speed run a match here.
They demolished towers, dude. They just ran it down bot twice.
That is literally possibly one of the fastest competitive games in MOBA, mobile MOBA, because I have not seen anything like that.
Honestly, in almost any esport.
We told Suijay, we told Jump the same. We were like, how is this possible? But let's go ahead and take a look at our stream schedule for today. So on this feed, guys, first 2 matches you're going to see from us is, of course, Honor of Kings. We got GeO eSports taking on M8HEXA, and then we'll have D-Team taking on BM Gaming, in which we'll then transition with a new set of casters for Dota, and then you'll see some Warcraft 3 later on.
Yeah, it's a nice little smattering of esports to whet your appetite here on the Tournament Zone stream, and we'll see a lot of really good stuff. Looking in on our games, I'm really excited for this first matchup, Opal. GeO eSports versus M8HEXA. Neither of these teams are Chinese squads, so this means these are some of the more winnable games. Either of these teams needs to pick up a win fast, because both of them definitely got shown up by the Chinese counterparts yesterday.
But we did hear from the other casting duo there that M8HEXA was actually able to, stay kind of contending against one of the Chinese teams during their series over on the substage. But this is then you're going into, say, GeO eSports, which is, again, a very established mobile org ran by Douglas GeO. He's actually playing on the team here in Xi'an this weekend, where, they know how to learn. They know how to play.
Yeah, a bit of a Reggie story too, and I guess there's some added pressure when the team owner is going to be on the squad as well. Looking forward to seeing how they perform today. As you mentioned, M8HEXA, they did hold their own for a little while, and it does track. This is a squad that, among all of the other non-Chinese teams, probably had the most time to actually practice and play on this. They didn't have to travel as far of a distance. Yeah. They probably got access to the game a little bit quicker than the other teams.
Well, and Malaysia is one of the actual other countries that does kind of play Kings of Glory normally at this point. So, they do play on the Chinese servers, but it is actually kind of been deployed.
Not that bad.
It's been kind of deployed out in the country already. It's like a low kind of launch to kind of see how it would work, and it's been rather successful.
Yeah, well, let's see if M8HEXA can really carry that torch, and whether they'll be able to knock off GeO eSports, we'll have to see. That is another story. I think looking at the Brazilian teams, we saw the INTZ squad yesterday really have a hard time. But let's take a look at the overview of the tournament. For those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, this format, it is 10 teams split into 2 groups. There's a round robin. That means everybody plays 4 matches, and you get 3 points for winning.
Yeah, and then we excel over into our knockout stage that will be starting up at the end of tomorrow, in which we'll be seeing single elimination, best of 3 format, and then, of course, our prize pool. First place, you're taking home $80,000. Cut that in half, you'll get your second place of $40,000, and then third, rounding it out for $20,000. We'll actually know who's going to be coming third place at the end of tomorrow.
It's true. We'll be able to see that one as the schedule will accelerate all towards the end of it. And, it is kind of a marathon of games. The teams kind of have to face off very quickly. We don't even broadcast every single one of them. We did have time tomorrow when you think about it.
But time
I think when you're looking at facing off against a variety of opponents and it's best of 3 all the way through, that means you need to really figure out a strategy to come back after a loss in one game. We've seen snowballs happen yesterday. I expect, unless these teams have picked up a lot of pointers, that's probably going to continue.
Yeah, and we kind of already seen a little bit of that meta kind of start to form here across the 2 stages. We're starting to see kind of similar picks when it comes into the roaming supports. The Mage pool has also been a bit, all over the place. A lot of picks coming here and there. I don't think
there's a lot of viable choices. I think that's the thing is in Honor of Kings, there are so many bursty mages, and it's kind of hard to ban them all out, and we will see which ones get chosen here. GeO eSports starting out on the blue side, M8HEXA on the red.
Yeah, already starting off pretty awesome here, Pyra, as we get ourselves in on time compared to yesterday.
This is nice. I have to admit, starting it at the AM hour
of 10
is pretty solid. For those of you that weren't watching yesterday, we had some very unfortunate tech issues that prevented us in a lot of the mobile games from getting started. But today, everything is all Gucci, as they say. Coming in with the bans, we do see M8HEXA does remove Yukio, a very powerful swordsman character.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, that is actually going to be a hero that GeO is actually familiar with, because, of course, that is the AoV equivalent Ryoma that they usually play over in the West. So getting that taken off the board, not going to be available, though, but the Guangyo getting locked out.
Yeah, Guan Yu not being available makes a lot of sense too. We talked about him at length yesterday. Most teams prefer to put him into a front line. He's a very terrifying threat. This game is all about those rotations, roaming. He's on horseback, and you know that? 4 legs are better than 2. I learned that one in Mongolia the other day.
We'll see here. We're also going to have the Li Wing getting banned out here for those that are familiar with AoV. That is the Batman equivalent here in Kings.
Very
and that
stealthy, a lot of damage.
Is going to be the Lubu getting locked in. Again, a lot of these picks are very familiar for AoV players because Lubu is now pretty much the Malak over from AoV.
And if you're coming from a more traditional MOBA like League of Legends, you can look at Lubu, and funny enough, he kind of sort of looks like a Darius and a Jarvan put together. He plays a bit like them as well.
Yeah, a little bit. You kind of have an ult that you kind of jump in. You know, I don't think Jarvan is as dramatic as he jumps through the sky.
This is a very flamboyant Jarvan, if you will. But we got to take a look at the locks because they're coming very fast here from M8HEXA. We get Pengu, another big warrior frontline, and Marcopolo, who comes in, and this is going to add a lot of firepower, a lot of punch to the M8HEXA lineup. I'm
interested. We've seen a lot of Marcopolo. Though over in the World Championship, it isn't as high priority.
He does come in a lot. I think it's just because there are other marksmen that seem to make the rounds. And now this is going to be a pick that we've seen locked out a number of times if Smith actually goes for it. Jingmin Shi, I believe. It's a very, like, bursty bomber kind of mage that actually can hold down a mid lane and stop a push. And they combo it with Xi'an, the big rock tank support.
Yeah, so looking at for your roams to go ahead and start those fights off here for GeO. Already kind of like in the composition that I'm seeing from them. You know, they already have decent engage coming out from the Lubu. You also have, like you mentioned, that support that's just going to go ahead and jump in. And then you already got that AoE damage. Those big team fights. Now we do look on over toward M8HEXA. Currently, you know, hovering the Frost Mage.
Yeah, and we saw Frost Mage get locked out quite a lot in the earlier stages of today. Because there have been so much other focused heroes right now, this might make it through. And honestly, I'm having a hard time figuring out who's getting the better of this draft here.
It kind of depends, because for right now, M8HEXA can go ahead and try and, you know, ban out some of those marksmen that could come out here for GeO now, as they've decided to, you know, opt in toward, you know, locking down their support right away. Same thing, though, GeO could go ahead and try and get rid of some jungle pickups, because the Yukio's already been banned out here on the side, as well as the Li Wing. So we'll see whether or not GeO wants to try, you know, isolate that pool a little bit more. As you saw, Frost Mage was locked in, so we'll have to see what Hexa does.
So what we've seen so far in this tournament, especially with the Chinese teams kind of really getting the jump on their counterparts, we've seen a lot of fast pushes, a lot of fast plays, and just domination. One-sided matches. I think this is going to be very different because you look on the GeO eSports side, they have a front line that's hard to burst through. M8HEXA, it looks like they're probably going to be playing for a little bit more of those rotations themselves, and they ban out the Gongsun Li. This is another really powerful marksman that can move around the map super fast.
Yeah, and it looks like Hexa's just going to go ahead and try and isolate some of the marksmen that GeO could pick up here. I'll be frank, though, I don't know if GeO's going to be super familiar, because when we were talking to them, you know, they were kind of, you know, what is the more closer things to AoV that we can pick up here? They could go for something along the lines of our Lady Sun. That is, of course, the Violet port when it comes to AoV. That's still available. We'll have to see here, though, is GeO going to go ahead and get rid of a side lane tank for their first ban.
It makes sense.
Oh, they're going to get rid of the Ruru, too.
Hello, yes, they got rid of the Ruru. So an assassin is something that GeO was potentially thinking about M8HEXA wanted to get rid of.
Again, the jungle. That
jungle mostly, yeah. Excuse me.
Jungle and your marksman still on the table here for GeO and what they want to try and pick heading into their second rotation. Final ban, though, is going to be coming through quite shortly, and we'll see what they want to try and take away here from M8HEXA to start things off. Again, it's bright and early here, Pyra. Yeah. You start off the day. It's your first one. What are you going to do?
Honestly, if I'm GeO, I'm thinking maybe the Tai, because that's going to add a lot of extra roaming firepower. They still need that support, but they don't. They get rid of the Tiger. That's another very powerful, fast-clearing jungler.
Yeah, you already kind of have your roaming support, too, so you might as well, you know, maybe try and go for something else. We'll have to see. But like you mentioned, Tiger getting banned out here. That kind of slows down M8HEXA as far as their clear goes. We'll see, though, as now you had the Ruru, you had the Tiger getting banned out here in the jungle, and the Yukio. We're starting to go down a little bit on the tier list when it comes to the jungle.
This is one of the more thought-out ban phases we've seen in the matches. Like previously, it's been like super lightning fast, and I think it just speaks to the difference in experience when it comes to the Chinese teams. But looking at these two, it seems like they're both on a much more similar level.
Yeah, we'll see here. 20 seconds on the clock. We'll see what M8HEXA wants to try and prioritize. Again, they got to pick up their looking for, of course, their jungle, and then you're looking for that roaming support. They could go for the Tai if they wanted to as well themselves.
That's what I'm thinking right now. Is I think they have like an okay frontline start, but try to give like some survival. And the Tai does come in here. Mike gets the lock in, and this is dangerous because you have that AOE res. Oh, this is something that we haven't seen so far for GeO. Yeah, we have. There's two heroes named Bali, and this one is very popular. We've seen in the KPL. Hasn't made an appearance here yet.
Yeah, it's like I believe it's Bali Shi or
something. Show you. And Gallo is potentially going to come in as well for Lycan.
All right, so Gallo being a possibility here, but because the Bali, if it does get locked in, that's going to be in your jungle. That's more of your hook. And Lady Sun, I kind of figured that's kind of what GeO would go for if they wanted to go with.
Yeah, Lady Sun might come in the Bali Shun. Let's see, 20 seconds still to lock before it happens, and then it's just going to be on M8HEXA's final pickup, which they might want to get something a little tankier at the end of it. We'll have to see. I mean, they have a lot of revival potential in the form of that Tai, and they do get the Lady Sun lock-in.
Yeah, so of course that is going to be the Violet equivalent, and of course the Volley. So yeah. I'm hype. I'm excited. This is pretty much what I've been playing for the last week here, as far as China goes. Mainly, you're looking for just your hook to charge up. You latch onto someone. If you get within close range, you can just lob them over your head.
When I was learning this game, and you sat me down, and you said basically, if you're coming from League of Legends, this guy is Thresh, but he fights.
Yeah, he
can just hook you. He can come in and just kind of like flip you. Like it can feel a bit Nautilus-y as well because he can just kind of pull in, except he pulls you to him.
And then like if he hooks onto you, that unlocks his ult, and then he can just stay on you.
He's kind of terrifying. Like he sort of looks like one of those characters in Kingdom Hearts, like the dudes with like the jackets and no shirts.
Oh, we're talking like organization.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're a Square Enix fan, it's been a while since I played Kingdom Hearts 2. Actually, I still haven't played 3, but he kind of gives me that vibe. You know, you got the multicolored hair. It's very anime.
Very anime. There's a lot here. There's a lot here like that, Pyre.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Let's see here.
So M8HEXA is still waiting on this last pickup, and I think this is going to fill out their front line. They are just going to let it tick down to the wire.
So you're looking for, again, more of that side lane pressure that they're going for here. And I feel like they're not actually running a traditional tank at this point. They're going to really rely on the Teehee to actually have to carry.
Yeah, and I think that's risky if you're M8HEXA. It speaks some confidence, but is that really confidence or is it more hubris? We can win because we don't actually need to worry about keeping a front line up. And on the other hand, if you're GeO eSports, you have a very big front line. They have the Xi'an available for themselves. Honestly, on the M8HEXA side, I mean, you're going to look at Pango to do a lot of heavy lifting, and I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, because like if I'm taking a look at my notes here, like if the T isn't able to get the ultimate off in time, or if it's not going to be roaming around the map causing mayhem, like you're really relying on your team to somehow carry.
I think they're going to have to try and 5v5 this. I don't know if they would see anything crazy like we did yesterday, where there was just a 5-man bot push.
Yeah.
But I think there will be early fights. I think it's probably going to center around Tyrant control. Down in the bottom?
As a possibility. The issue for them is, and this might actually help out GeO, is during the matches yesterday from our Malaysian squad, we were told, they often would try and go for fights when they were outnumbered, when they didn't have the proper priority.
Yeah, punch their way out. It's a strategy. It may not always work.
But if it's not working one time, like sure, you can maybe try it on the Brazilian team.
But it's about comfort. We'll see if they're able to do it getting into game, especially for the squads that may not be as familiar with this particular version of the game. And we are out onto the map, onto the Valley of Kings.
Yeah, out on the Valley. It's going to be GeO on your blue side, M8HEXA on your red. We already see Douglas. That is, of course, Smith on your screen. Looking to lead the charge. Myth going for a hook. Not going to find it here, but both squads, this is much more that traditional arena Valor style play where you see the supports in the mid lane and already an invade.
I like that split pressure coming out of GeO. They do move in onto the blue buff and should be able to pick it up, and ST is going to have to back away for now. But the blue does get traded on the opposite side, so it's even pace, even keel. It's GeO that actually decided to group early, only sending Elwind to the top lane alone.
But look at this. On the side of M8HEXA, as they make their way out of the jungle, they're already picking up extra gold onto the map. That's already giving them a small little bit of an advantage here, and that just is one thing they can't let it go. Oh, we're going to see Tio actually go for an engage, instantly stunned back, but look at that. Smith, that's Douglas getting some decent damage here onto that Frost Mage.
Yeah, I think they were a little bit uncoordinated, though. At first, there was a pretty good brush position coming in for the two GeO members, but they actually had backed away, and then the commit came in after the fact. You can see the difference is starting to be a slight buildup in gold for M8 because they did the vertical jungling. Meanwhile, GeO were going for picks, and they're going to keep this going down bottom, but it looks like Saint has managed to spot this out. The slow and the flip, they've got it. It's going to be first blood.
Flash out forward from Tio. It's able to secure the kill, so nicely done here, as that is going to be GeO eSports from Brazil picking up first blood here, and that was pretty clean.
They wanted to make it happen, and they did commit a lot of pressure to try and find picks, and they will be able to reap the reward.
How long do they
Picking up
stay,
that gold,
though?
that's the question. Duan coming in. Mike is here.
Mike.
They've got the chain, the tether. Do they
You
want to
know
keep
what?
this fight? I don't know. That flip. Myth is in trouble.
Underneath the tower, they tried to go for it here, but it's not going to be enough as they're able to get taken down. Tio able to escape with his life, but that is going to be Myth taken off the board, and without a jungle, that should be Tyrant.
Yeah, the Bailushun is going to want to get those 1v1s a lot more. He just found himself way too many numbers, and again, what we predicted and the pick ban, it is all about the Tyrant control. Smith trying to steal it. Nice little cheeky attempt, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, is able to back off there, goes ahead, pops the 2, gets a little bit of speed boost there, and we'll get back into the mid lane. Just wants to clear out some of the minions here. So a good start there by GeO, but it is answered immediately here by M8HEXA as they've now secured their first neutral objective and get themselves a 1,000 gold lead.
Nonetheless, this is the most competitive matchup we've seen so far in the tournament, and I think that really does speak volumes to the parity that it's going to have in the non-Chinese teams. Raining bullets from the sky to clear those minions. Guang is actually going to back away from lane now, and things have really stabilized in this game, Opal.
Stabilized a little bit here. It's still, though, M8HEXA feels like the tempo is there as they're already positioning for a possible dive here onto the marksman of GeO. Lady Sun has to back off here. Lycan, though, tries to get a little too close into the action.
Myth wasn't ready for this. He's just jungling on the red. And
Tio!
Oh, Tio! What were you doing out there, buddy?
Tio just a little too far forward. A little bit of miscommunication coming out from the side of GeO eSports. And though it looked like a good start here, it's starting to slowly fall apart here.
Yeah, I think this is where you see that snowball start to roll at this point. They've got the pressure on 2 lanes out of 3. They're perfectly content to let that third one sit idly by. And actually, they're going to change it up. Xuan's Pengu roams up to topside. This is going to force Elwin back.
We'll see here how Elwin wants to respond. Again, we haven't seen GeO in a full fight just yet. That Lubu ult can be pretty disastrous for the enemy squad if he's able to place it well onto the backline. And if they're able to find catches like this, not going to fully commit though, because Tio, underneath that just barrage of damage from the side of Guang. Not going to be enough, though, to take him down, but that is going to force him to recall.
Yeah, big AoE. He just can't get out of it easily, and unfortunately, Tio keeps getting caught in these situations where he's just out. And meanwhile, speaking of caught, Elwind could be in trouble, but who's baiting who here? Myth and Smith
There's
coming
Myth.
up to the top side, looking for that 2-man combo in. The jump forward. Sain and Juan actually turning it back around, and they might be able to get out scot-free.
And you saw that Lubu ultimate coming out. Wasn't placed all that great, though, unfortunately, so they weren't able to get the knock-up. And the immediate follow-up here on the side of GeO is enough, though, to dissuade the side of M8HEXA to go in for a dive. Still, though, 2,300 gold lead, and M8HEXA, they still pressure into this jungle. They're still taking a little bit of gold here and there. One good thing here for GeO, well, actually, it's not that good, is Tio only just hit level 5. He's starting to lose out a bit on the experience battle between him and Mike, and those extra base stats, especially on someone who's naturally tanky, is just going to get shredded apart.
Yeah, the only saving grace is that the rest of the team, it's not necessarily the same story. I think the exception, of course, being Marcopolo. June has managed to get himself level 8 already, and that's just because he hasn't had a hard time at all really just pushing the farm into the bottom tower for most of this game. But so far, GeO eSports are holding strong for the time being. Tio, we've seen this movie before. He keeps getting caught, but this time he gets away.
We'll see here. Tyrant's going to be spawning in 5 seconds. The big difference is M8HEXA, every time they go for a play, every time they go into a side lane, you can just look. GeO eSports jungle is barren. It's empty. Meanwhile, their jungle is just spawning up once again. So unless GeO wants to try and respond with something here on the top side, they're just not getting anything for this Tyrant.
Yeah, this is the problem right now. There's an overcommitment in the top. They don't even get the kill for GeO. That means M8HEXA have the guaranteed numbers advantage, and they can keep bullying.
Just gets to safety there. Is able to tumble back in underneath the lane, but that tower is not too long for this world.
It's
with
gone.
4 members. That's going to be their first tower of the game, going over to M8HEXA as they now expand themselves to a 3,300 gold lead.
This is the slow build. M8HEXA are just going for the, we will get incremental advantages and eventually we'll edge you out. We don't need to take any foolhardy risk. We're not a Chinese team. We're not going to go in with that 60-40 mentality.
You see, though, decent little bit of wave clear coming out here from Smith. Obviously, with the bomber, you have that ultimate charge that just spreads out a lot of AoE damage. Easy wave clear to prevent a siege easily from M8HEXA, but every time it gets close enough, it's just getting a little bit of tick damage here on the tower.
Yep, and M8HEXA putting themselves in the driver's seat for this game. And I think with your GeO, they're just looking for answers. Myth is going to try to make a play on Xi'an, and Tio's there as well. They'll get the flip over the jump, but they're into tower range, and that's not doing anything.
That's the issue, though. You try and keep on going. Tio's going to be forced to flash over the wall, And M8HEXA, they're able to punish the aggression coming out from Myth and now into the mid lane. The Marcopolo getting a decent amount of damage there onto Smith as they back off, clear out the wave. Tyrant going to be coming up in 90, but of course we have our big boy up in toward the top side of the map in just over a minute.
Yeah, the Overlord's going to be huge, so
Douglas?
We haven't actually seen too many of them. Careful there, Smith, as he gets pushed away. If the Overlord goes down, this accelerates the pace heavily. You start getting those mini dragons spawning in each of the lanes, and it just makes it so much easier to siege these outer turrets down. And I think they're going to set up for it. I mean, the Lubu's got to come in handy at some point. Elwin has not done anything outside of his own lane this game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He needs to be part of these fights. That's your main engage coming out from GeO. Ultimate's going to be used to try and clear out the wave, but guess what? M8HEXA, they had minions in bot side as well as they continue to crash into the tower.
Desperation play, Opal. At this point, they're just trying to burn what they can and stave off the push from M8HEXA. They have to contest the Overlord. They have to contest their own jungle, too, and fortunately, they are able to do that, but they need a pick to set up a play of their own.
So here, Myth going to go ahead, charge up the hook. It's not been landing there, though, but look toward your top side. M8HEXA, again, pick up another outer tier tower, and now just a natural map control for GeO. It just makes it impossible for them. They're going to try and force this, but guess what? Minions are already crashing on your second tier tower, GeO. You got to answer this.
Yeah, this priority is all over the place at the moment. GeO did not realize how much commitment M8 were putting to the top side of the map, and they've lost an inner tower. They're going to lose the one inside their base, and they're still chasing for ST.
And M8HEXA, they can maybe possibly go for an end here. Now the backs are coming out. Lubu going to go ahead with the ultimate, but he's just going to instantly get shredded.
He's isolated.
It does have the shielding there for GeO, but look at GeO. They're trying the hardest. GeO's trying to soak up damage. It doesn't matter at this point, though. 5 members strong here on the side of M8HEXA as they're able to crash in the base and now force the super minions.
They've forced it open at this point, Opal. They've got a clear path to the core. They didn't even need an Overlord to do it. Now, Mike, he could be caught for a second, but Smith was the one that actually got baited in here, and that AoE coming in hot just from the sky at this point. M8HEXA, you know, they can take whatever they want on the map at this point.
7,000 gold lead, 9 minutes now on the clock. Yeah, both the Overlord and the Tyrant available. Honestly, they don't need either at this point because once again, they just starve out the jungle of GeO eSports and make it near impossible for them to build up any kind of gold, especially if Myth's taken down. GeO trying to go for the flashy play, it doesn't matter.
If you're a grappler and you can't 1v1 the Frost Mage at this point, you are in a world of trouble. The one kill, it seems like that's all M8HEXA are going to get. Tyrant goes down to Marcopolo. That's the third one. The Dark Tyrant comes up next. I don't think we'll even see the game go that long, though.
Now back in toward the mid lane, M8HEXA. Keep the siege and just go up toward that blue buff. Steal it away from GeO. They're having some difficulties. Tio really wants to try and make a play here, but like we've mentioned, Overlord is now available.
It's now or never.
See if GeO can actually interrupt this. Tio leading the charge, gets the back onto it. It's going to be a 3-man knockup, but instantly retaliates. Lubu ultimate is so far off the screen.
This one's over, Opal.
I don't even know where he's flying at this point. Triple kill coming out from the Marcopolo, and Elwind is not long for this world as he's going to get frozen, and he stands there still as he has to watch his team die.
Nearly a clean ace at this point. Myth comes up, just denying it at the end, and that is going to be all she wrote. It's a clear and easy path into the core here for M8HEXA, and they will close this one out and look so clean doing it. They didn't take any risks. Myth is going down. It's GG here, Opal.
And with that, M8HEXA should be able to focus the core. You have Tio making a last stand, but unfortunately, cores are just so squishy in this game that it won't matter. M8HEXA taking game 1.
Well, I have to admit it was a lot closer than the games we've seen so far at this tournament, Opal, but GeO eSports still have a few things to learn from the likes of M8HEXA. We'll take a look at our post-match graphics, and you know, it was a team effort. Nobody here had like a ridiculous scoreline. I think the closest you'll look at June, where he went deathless on the Marcopolo, but that's just because of how clean they played.
But look at that damage carry coming out from your mid lane. That's 40% of your team's damage for Guang on the Frost Mage.
I mean, that's because everybody stood in the AoE. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Guang had a really great game for himself, and you could just see it was a slow build-up that eventually snowballed out of control. We've seen this in MOBAs across the board. It's just when one team outclasses another. It doesn't go for the style plays, doesn't need to look flashy, just win clean.
Well, obviously they kind of did. Yeah. Really. Like, other than the minor slip-up at the beginning of the game, and I like that from GeO, where they were being proactive at the beginning. They said, all right, we're going to go for that first blood. We're going to go ahead and get the dive. One thing we were told about when it came to this Malaysian squad, they were extremely reactive in the plays, and they weren't the ones really pushing where they wanted the game to go. It looks like, though, against something like you would say of a weaker team compared to the Chinese teams they faced
Well, let's experience,
yesterday.
Sam. Let's be honest. I think that's the difference, is that a lot of these squads, especially coming from the West, they're more used to Arena of Valor. They're adjusting to what is effectively a different game. Even though it plays extremely similar, it does have a lot of differences, and you have to kind of really get yourself in that mindset. I think they did pick for comfort as well, but the composition wasn't really a problem. It was just that they were 1 or 2 steps behind the Malaysian side.
I don't wish to point out anything, but Elwind on the Lubu, I felt like
He wasn't in that game. Like he was in lane most of the time. He tried for a handful of ultimates. Like it's more than some Lubus we've seen in this tournament. But you're right. He if he's going to pilot that hero,
unfortunately, the one ultimate he did,
it got dodged.
Yeah, and the whole team dodged it. That's right.
But again, it's the comfort in being able to pick up something that you can actually execute on. And I think GeO, they might want to keep it a little simpler for this next game to try and come back again. I didn't hate the Lubu pick, but I think maybe stick to something that is a little bit easier to execute on.
Well, I have to see here, as we're going to be getting into our second draft quite shortly, and we'll get the teams sorted out underway. Again, M8HEXA only needing 1 more game, and they win the best of 3. That's another 3 points in their group stage.
Yeah.
I think the only big issue for them is I believe they played both of the Chinese teams already in their group, and they both lost.
Well, you've got them. I mean, you've got them out of the way, and yes, you want to actually beat one of them, because the way it works is assuming that the Chinese teams are going to stomp it through.
In a realistic scenario where the Chinese teams are considered the favorites, you actually have to beat at least one of them to move out of the group
because
stage.
Otherwise it's top 2 that make it through each of the groups,
because
right? So then it's the 2 Chinese teams, one of them beats the other one, and you've already lost to that one, so your tiebreaker's never going to work out.
On top of that, too, for the Malaysian squad, they now have to rely on the Chinese team, one of the Chinese teams, to drop 2 games by themselves.
Yeah.
Because if they only lose 1, well, they won the tiebreaker scenario.
It's a slim chance, but it is a path to the semifinals. And if you play like that, it is encouraging, because they didn't give a lot of openings for GeO to respond. And GeO did trip over their own shoelaces a couple of times. But I think that really does speak to the experience that the Malaysian team did have. And I'm looking forward to seeing if they can do it again cleanly in Game 2, or if GeO pull a fastball.
We'll have to see here. Whew!
It's getting warm in here, isn't it?
It's getting a little hot in here.
I mean, I think it's the action heating up, but it's also we're surrounded here. The WCG World Cyber Games. There are just games going on to our left, to our right. We've got a crazy cube in the background that's just blasting music.
I think that's what's radiating heat right now.
I think
honestly.
It is actually. Yeah.
It's kind of got it's got the yellow. It's even got Kings on it right now.
It does actually.
That's how they actually.
This is meta. We've got Kings on a Kings broadcast. So we heard you like Kings, so we put some. In your Kings
within your Kings.
Yeah, in the cube.
Is there actually? Well, there's King Arthur in the game.
There is King Arthur. Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of historical and mythical figures. You've got Mulan. You've got Genghis Khan. You've got Marcopolo. Although he looks a little different. He's kind of steampunk, which I like. I think it's a good liberty to take. I'm a big fan of steampunk.
He's got the goggles going on there. He's got a little bit of the bronze on everything.
Yeah, but of course, he just kind of shoots things.
Yeah,
which is always an interesting.
And he
take
also
on
can blink and teleport.
Yeah, which
I guess
honestly would have probably been very useful in his time.
Yeah, he's an
it's useful now.
You can just
he roams. Yeah.
He can travel easier.
Travel lighter. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine how much you save on airfare if you can just blink around the world.
Yeah, well, you can't blink that far.
I mean, you just step by step by step. It's hard. I guess on water, once he hits the ocean, it'd be kind of an issue.
Yeah, every 5 seconds he would just.
Oh, he's got a cooldown. Okay.
Yeah, because every 5 seconds.
If you just start swimming. And then you blink, and then you blink. You could make it. It just would be really tiring.
I'll be frank, though. It looks like he only goes from here to the
what's
the
relative distance on the Valley of Kings? How big is it?
Well, if we take the average human size in there, and the trees.
Marcopolo is an average human size.
Yeah, and the tree size looks pretty same. He goes 2 or 3 trees worth.
So that's what, maybe 2 meters.
5 meters,
5 meters. They're being generous here, but okay.
Yeah,
let's assume. We got a little bit of time while we're waiting to get into the next game. You go about 5 meters. You blink on a 5-second cooldown, so you go 8 meter per second effectively. How long would it take you to get around the world? How big is the world? I can't remember.
Well,
I used to know this stuff.
Isn't the circumference 15,000 kilometers or something like that?
Okay, 15,000 kilometers. You can go a meter per second. So 15,000.
So that's if I'm doing the math right now.
So 15,000 kilometers times 1,000.
Yeah, so you're at 15 million meters?
15 million meters.
All
so
right.
15 million seconds. What's 15 million seconds?
15 million seconds. Well, if you divide that by
60.
60. Well, you don't have 20 enough in there. I'm trying to do here quick math.
Here, I'm gonna do some quick math. I'm starting to write it down. 15 million divided by 60. So it works out a little easier because the 15 and 60 where you got your 5 numbers.
Your 5 numbers?
As in 15 is a fourth of 60.
I guess.
This is how I do math.
Guess.
This is terrible. I'm sorry for subjecting you all to this.
Would that mean it's 15? I'm trying to think now. Is that is that like
so let's say, okay, so 15 divided by 3 is 5, right?
You know what I have? I have a calculator.
Yeah. Wait, what are we doing math?
I don't know why we're doing math on the broadcast.
Why are we doing this?
Because it sounds like we have just a small little thing. I think one of the teams is actually just having trouble reconnecting into the lobby, so we're just going to make sure they're actually able to play.
And we're going to do math while we wait. So, yeah, if you haven't tuned out now, then you the real one. So please go ahead and do the calculations, Opal. 15 million.
15 million.
We're also going off numbers that we just assume are correct.
So that's 250,000 hours.
Wait. So we said seconds. 250,000 minutes. So you got to divide it by 60 again.
Why do I have to do divided by 60 again?
Well, we said we did a meter per second is assuming that's how much you can blink, right? Like on average, because it's 5 seconds, you go 5 meters.
Okay.
And we said the circumference of the Earth is 15 million kilometers. 15 million meters.
4,100 hours roughly.
Yeah, 4,166.
So then you divide that by 24, and it take you 173 days.
So not quite around the world in 80 days, but honestly, not bad.
Like double.
It's still not bad though. Like considering you're not paying for flights, you don't need a hotel.
But then you also need to eat.
Yeah, I guess it probably burns a lot of energy.
And you need to sleep as well.
So it would take a lot longer.
Like,
but, okay,
can
so
you sleep? Can you have very lucid dreams where you?
It's inactive. I think you wouldn't. I think you wouldn't be able to do it.
Who says maybe he just he feels like teleporting?
I don't know. Well, that's roughly half a year, right?
Yeah.
So if he's awake half the time.
So it's like a year.
So yeah, it's about a year to get around the world.
Marco, you're a horrible explorer, actually.
I mean, well, hold on. Think about when he was alive. That's a pretty good time.
Boats can go faster than that.
I mean, if they knew the world, this is assuming an optimal route.
True.
I guess it actually makes it worse because it'd take him even longer.
Yeah.
He's actually a really bad explorer.
Yeah, okay. God, Marco.
Forget it.
Get better, please.
Yeah. Now, how fast can Genghis Khan get around?
I don't know. Well,
because he did apparently quite.
Yeah,
quite
he
fast.
had horses.
He did, but that's what I mean.
But in this game, he actually has wolves.
Yeah, he rides on a wolf, which Guan Yu rides on a horse, which is like.
Oh my God! You know what it reminds me of? From the movie we watched last night. It's the giant wolf.
Oh yeah. No, we watched Thor Ragnarok last night. And there's the giant necromancy wolf.
Yeah.
That just growls at everyone.
Yo, where's the skin? Tencent. Skin. Easy.
We just gave him an idea.
Boom.
I would buy it.
Would you buy it?
Yeah, of course.
Well,
so who would have a Hela skin then? Because you got the crazy head spikes.
That's a good question. I'll try and think. It'd be one of the mages probably.
Definitely because there's a lot of those super Syndra kind of looking mages that are
really
dark and crazy.
To be honest, she kind of reminds me a bit
I'm gonna look here. I'm gonna see if
for League of Legends, you could do Lysandra because you could change the art.
Yeah, but we gotta think of somebody in this game, in Kings of Legends, it's Kings of Legends. Kings of Glory, excuse me. I just started hearing the robot dancing again, and I'm just my brain's fuzzy now.
Yeah, we got Uptown Funk going on in the background.
Which, by the way, it's great. It's I wish you guys could see this if we could pan it over because there's this crazy robot dance number. I think during yesterday's performance, I think I sent it out a little bit. I hope it went out on Twitter. Yeah. You guys should really check it out. WCG is a trip, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, and then they got synthwave visuals in behind them. They're going the Miami Vice route.
I know they're going. It's very 80s synthwave as you said, but
cyberpunk.
But they're literally just dressed as giant human disco balls.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And then there's a robot that kind of looks like a Samsung Iron Man over there.
Yeah, he's got a giant SSD in the middle of it.
He's running on a giant SSD. So I mean, how much storage do you actually need to run as a robot? Probably a lot. That's a brain basically, but his brain's on his chest.
Yeah, and it's exposed to the world.
Yeah, that's kind of not safe. Or is that a metaphor for something?
We're all exposed.
Whoa.
Pyra.
A little deep there, Opal. Calm down. It's only game 1.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're having a day already, man. This is good. Yeah, we do apologize for the delays, ladies and gentlemen. We will be trying to get back into game 2 as soon as we possibly can. And when we get more information, we'll let you know as that happens. But in the meantime, I mean, yeah, if you want to check out a lot of the other streams that are going on here at the WCG, I definitely encourage it. There are so many awesome games. We've got Crossfire, we've got Dota, we've got Warcraft 3, which, by the way, is so cool because I remember tuning in when I didn't know anything about esports, way back in the day in the 2000s, WCG games and Warcraft 3, which is the game that I grew up with in high school. This is so cool that it's still happening.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, as casters ourselves, we get to see other amazing talent with us here today. On Hearthstone, you had Atlas coming over from Korea.
It's always good to see Max.
Currently, I think Chobra's on the Dota stage now.
We saw Tasis and Artosis the last couple days. They're doing StarCraft. Yeah, Munchables is here. Yeah. Honestly, it's really great. You kind of feel like you're part of something bigger when you just connect with so many
Personally,
people that you just really like look up to.
You love like the family moments over in the lounge, you know, that kind of stuff.
It's kind of like a dysfunctional, like extremely extended family. Like, and everyone's just like, in between games, but, you know, a little peek behind the curtain there. But it is nice to be a part of it.
All right. What's these teams doing?
We're getting ready for the next game, hopefully.
We can see them from here.
Yeah, if you guys look behind us, this is the tournament zone. These are where all the players actually are.
I see you, GeO. Why are you not starting the game?
What if it's not GeO's fault? What if it's M8HEXA?
I don't know.
Why are you singling out the Brazilian team, man? What's going on?
I'm not. Okay.
This guy.
Hexa.
There you go.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Get in the
Equal
lobby.
critique. This is what you do.
Of
course, I think the Hearthstone guys are playing behind us as well.
Oh yeah, they got the Hearthstone. Well, you've been like during the break yesterday.
That's what I did.
You were crowded. You were.
Oh yeah, no, I was just grinding ranks, grinding ladder while we were like in the break. I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm playing Hearthstone. Let's make it happen. I was like watching the guys behind me. I'm like, can it give me some of this energy?
I don't know if we can. I could screen share some Honor Kings gameplay.
Or we can just start playing Honor. You're just gonna hold it up to the camera?
Oh no, I could just connect it wirelessly.
Oh really?
Yeah, obviously.
Are you like a hacker man? Is that your thing?
Are you a hacker?
Are you hacker?
You a hacker?
Can you like break into the mainframe?
Can you type numbers really fast?
I love that GIF that's just the dude at like Best Buy where it's just like hacking complete.
Pretty much.
That's so retro too. It's like from like early 2000s. Oh, looks like we got the game ready. Picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen, coming up in Lubu.
To me.
Off the board.
Obviously, Oppo was the influence that both the teams needed to get into this lobby.
Sure, why not?
Let's go ahead. Ban's looking like we're going to get rid of the Lubu here on the side of GeO.
Yukio comes out next, too.
Yeah.
I think that's a perma-ban for M8HEXA. It makes a lot of sense.
Seems like they don't really want to deal with it. That's perfectly fine at this point.
Here's the interesting thing. Both teams staying on the same side, even though the side selection is swapped.
Yeah, so for side selection, there's a coin flip before the game, and if you win, you get side selection for game 1 and 3, and the other team, of course, gets game 2. We'll see here. Again, Mage going to be banned out here by GeO.
That's been a permaban this tournament as well. I think like there's all the teams, even the new ones, realize this is something they'd rather not go up against. They'd rather not give away. Another ban comes through, that jungler.
Lee Wing
coming out. Stealthy jungle.
You know,
I think you said he's Batman equivalent in AoV.
He's the Batman of Kings of Glory.
I mean, he looks like when he talks through that mask thing, he's like, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Just in like Mandarin at that point.
Yeah?
Would just be.
What is Mandarin for Batman?
I don't know. Should look that up.
No, I feel like there's I mean, it might just be Batman because I know like Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
True.
In other languages. Oh, Guan Yu's open. Elwin's actually going to pick him up. I don't mind this, actually. Like, you need to get mobile. GeO were getting run around the map a little bit, and you can really close distances with Guan Yu.
It's going to go and get locked in on the side of GeO. So like you mentioned, that front line that's going to be looking to push everyone back during those fights, just looking to launch themselves into the fray. We'll see what M8HEXA wants to try and prioritize here for their first 2 rounds of the draft phase. We'll see whether or not they want to go ahead and pick up that Marcopolo again. If they want the Frost Mage, that's still available from their previous game as well. Lots
Marcopolo.
of oh, please.
Oh,
give me
they're
the
alternating
pig.
On the sniper,
Yes!
and the pig comes in. We're going bouncing with some pork today. Opal.
Welcome to the pig pen, as it were, as that's going to get locked in. So that is a
Shubai J is his name, obviously, but we like to call him Pig.
We like to call him Pig. He's a good pig. Good job. Good.
But the Shangman G is up available too, and I think this is something that Smith likes. Douglas is going to enjoy. If they can really stack up their AoE a bit better, I think it will work better this time around.
We'll have to see, though. Again, it did well in the lane. Had pretty good damage numbers. Was doing his best for the team. We'll see, though, if it gets locked in as, Myth going to go ahead and pick up another, side lane tank that's going to be available here for GeO. So already showing quite a bit.
Yeah, Zhang Fei is our tank. He got banned out the last time around.
Moon Goddess here for M8HEXA if they want it. That's another just big AoE, lots of damage.
It's in the same thing as Frost Mage. I feel like it's right up Guang's alley.
Yeah. We'll see whether or not Guang wants to go ahead and lock that in. We also saw that Marcopolo once again themselves. Big one for us, though, is the pig. So for those that don't know, pretty much you can launch yourself into the team, you can rake people in, and you can also pick up T here for the side of
I mean, and then why fix it if it ain't broken? The T did a really great job. Mike was actually able to roam super effectively around the map. I don't think he actually had to ult most of that game.
No, I don't think there was really an opportunity for it.
Yeah, Gong Sung Lee banned out. This makes perfect sense. We're going to harp on this all tournament long. If she's not banned in that second phase when marksmen are starting to get picked up on the opposite side, it's going to come in.
On top of that, too, that's a very safe ban here for M8HEXA because I don't even know if GeO's played it that much.
Yeah, but they've already got their marksman, too. They've already got the Marcopolo locked in, so, why bother? It's okay. They will ban out Moon Goddess, though, because that was being hinted at. And you wonder if this is maybe a head fake. I doubt it. I doubt it goes that deep, but still.
But they're like, oh, yeah, that pickup. Oh, that hero.
Frostmage is still up.
Yeah.
They have choices.
They could easily just go with Frostmage, especially with Pigpen. Oh, that's a lethal combo. Pretty much you put down the wall, you rake them in, and then you ult with the Frostmage, and it's like, yeah, you're dead.
Yeah.
Ruru's
locked in. Ruru's going to be banned away as well, as you mentioned. So really targeting on that jungle. Tiger is still available, and I think this is an option for GeO.
We'll see if they want to try and go and lock that in. There's still a possibility that we have a bit of a swap up when it comes to our jungle. If they want to go something more assassin-y, because you already kind of have your frontline tanks. You need something that's actually going to do damage.
There's so much mobility already on the GeO side, and I do like this.
They need a little bit of damage, though. They need to actually be able to burst Marcopolo. And even if they try and burst them, though, you're going to have that res available. Pengu.
And there's a tank, too.
Going to be banned out.
Pengu, it makes sense. This was picked last time. It's been a powerful choice in the entirety of this tournament. But will we see the Mage coming in here for M8HEXA? I think you might as well just go ahead and grab the Frost Mage.
Ooh.
Well, there's other ideas.
We're going to have one of our swordsmen getting hovered here. I think that is the Libai, if I recall off the top of my head. It's going to be a warrior, of course. There.
Libai, yeah.
Libai, yeah. Possibly getting locked in.
No, we're getting debated. Is it going to be Melody instead?
Melody? Okay.
This is why we don't talk about hovers, Opal.
I know.
People like to mix things up. I know it's a rule I break frequently. You get really excited sometimes, but you never know. They take their time, and it's something completely different.
It's going to be the Sunsea at this point.
Yeah. All right. So nothing that exciting, Sunsea, but that's okay.
Actually, I wonder why. Okay, so M8 is pretty much just saying we want to see the full composition before we lock in our mid.
Okay, so they just want to give themselves as many options to counterpick for that mid lane. That makes sense.
Which at this point, you already know what the mid
it's Smith,
lane is.
but yeah, but I think it's more for like the team fight, right?
Possibly. Let's see here. What does GeO want to try and respond to?
Ooh, do they pick it themselves?
Possibly here. Again,
You want damage?
Mulan?
Mulan as an assassin coming in. That is bold.
That's a lot of damage being shown here. Would they not run a marksman?
I don't know. This is really curious. They're taking their time on this pick.
So instead, opting in for something that's more going to be just a rush at the back line, no real marksman, just try and assassinate.
I mean, this is one option to deal with the Marcopolo, to try and sidestep the pig.
So does that mean you're going to actually have your support, or are you going to try something else?
Oh, boy. We got the Wukong locked in, and Mulan, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns here, Opal.
That's what you're going to go with?
Yeah. until the remake comes out, that's my go-to Mulan reference.
All right. Frost Mage being hovered here for M8. That wouldn't be a shock. But now GeO, if I recall correctly, they don't actually have a marksman. They're running a double assassin at this point.
Yep. I like it. You know what? You lose out in a standard composition. You say, that's fine. Let's mix it up. Try to get into that back line, and we can pick off the damage dealers. It's not an easy strategy to execute.
We're going to go for the poison? We are. So this is, of course, the poison Mage kind of getting picked up here. So,
in case you couldn't tell, he's poison, he's blue.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
He throws poison at you at that point. That's the big issue.
He just chucks poison in your general direction.
For those that might be familiar with, say, like League of Legends, kind of has stacks like Twitch.
Yeah.
Pretty much you lay down poison, and then it ticks up, and then your ultimate, you rip out the poison and just do a bunch of dip bursts.
I mean, you can also equate it to like a bleed, like on a Darius effect, but thematically, yeah, poison.
Yeah, poison there too. And then you also have like just that I guess your nuke option. You're like, I'm stacked up, I'm ready, boom, you go.
Dot damage, that's the point. But that's not the game plan that GeO are going for. They got that assassin stack. They're going to try to get into the back line. It is risky, but like we said, if it doesn't work the first time standard, you might want to go bold.
My issue is, pretty much on the side of M8, they picked Pig just so they could bring people closer. And now you're going to have a bunch of low-range, tanks, warriors, and assassins trying to jump in.
I think it's kill contract on Marcopolo. That's the game plan here for GeO.
But then you got Frost Mage you got to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. They can also get in on a Frost Mage. We'll have to find out.
We'll have to see as we're going to go ahead and load on for Game 2 here, and we'll see whether or not GeO can go ahead and force Game 3, or whether or not M8HEXA are going to close out the series at a clean 2-0. As ST leading the charge, and the team already looking to group up here for a possible fight in mid.
All right, on to the Valley of Kings we are, and it looks like in the mid lane is where that first fight will go. Guan Yu on the front, Lycan going for the damage dealing, but it's going to be contest on red or blue buff rather.
Yeah, blue buff's looking to be traded back once again, but you do see M8HEXA are looking to try and defend this. GeO, Lycan just jumping in there himself, but it is going to be secured there. Flies on over toward the other side here. Myth going down extremely low, wants to try and jump in. Tio trying to soak up damage. Decent damage from the bomber. Smith, one more will do it. Needs to get the damage, but it's not going to happen as first blood goes over to M8HEXA.
Oh, so close, but to the victors go the spoils.
Oh, no.
M8HEXA do it, and Smith getting himself caught out. Tio comes too late, and it's all falling down around GeO eSports in the beginning.
And M8HEXA, it feels like they're, you know, one step ahead already, as we'll see up toward the top side here.
That's not the matchup you want. It's Pig versus Mulan. Like, what are you going to do?
Nothing to either of them. Nothing.
That's what I mean. It's like you don't want your assassin stranded up there. They sent Element to the top thinking that's where the carry would be, but it's not the case.
Again, it's hard because what we saw from the Chinese teams, they kept their carries up toward the top side of the map. So maybe expecting the same from M8 because last time that's actually where they put the Marcopolo a little bit. So,
but they mixed it up. I mean, they sent Marcopolo back down to the bottom lane, and yeah, I think M8 are, you know, they not only stabilize, they take a significant lead, over 1,000 gold to start this off. Myth going up to try and take down the Big.
ST,
do they have the damage?
Bring it in, rakes him back. Doesn't have the ultimate though, so can't really do much else.
That's a 2v1 that just failed.
Yep, that's how it is. That's Pig.
Yep.
He's a good Pig.
Feels
good
bad,
job,
man.
Pig. We'll see here, though. Tyrant going to be started up on the side of M8. Does GeO try and respond here?
No, they back away.
It looks a little
Too
ugly.
much pressure.
You see Alwyn going into that mid lane, but no, M8. That's going to be a jump in. It's not going to be secured, though, by GeO. Instead, goes on over to the Malaysian squad, and Lycan just going to get ticked down. He gets taken out. Marcopolo going to get the kill credit.
Oh, they've even brought ST into the mid lane, and the Wukong gets taken down as well. Elwind nearly getting bursted himself. GeO, unfortunately, stuck in a position where they're just trying to play reactively, and it's not working.
Now, unfortunately, it looks like for GeO that M8HEXA were the ones that almost had a little bit of a lull here in the morning. A little tired, but game two, they've woken up, and they're already starting pretty fast.
Yep. Big Bomb comes in to try and clear out the wave of minions. Doesn't really do much damage to Guang. And this is starting to look bad for GeO eSports. Elwyn goes up to defend. The pull in for ST, that's a 2v1, and it's about to be 3. Guang coming in.
Going to go ahead and try and clear out the wave. Tio comes by, but again, not a whole lot he can do. GeO going to try and get the red buff. Guess who's sneaking in here? It's that T. Just trying to sneak by. Instead, they're going to go and opt in for just taking the Phoenix.
So I think GeO have managed to do something they needed to, because previously they had left Lycan down alone in the bottom lane, and now he's roaming in. Gets into tower range, doesn't take too much damage. He will sit this out, but this isn't what you want to be doing with the Guan Yu. You want to be trying to get into other people's lanes, not holding your own, especially not in a 2v1.
On top of that, too, you're already starting to see a decent amount of experience differential, especially in that bot lane, because Lycan going low. Mike is going to get resurrected, and a beautiful play coming out from the Malaysian squad as they pick up their first tower of the game. GeO trying to respond here, but ST, he's one very tactile and quick Pig at some point here. Going to have that shield popping back here at some point, but no, gets taken down before he can.
GeO bring home the bacon, but man, it cost them everything to do it. A 4-player investment, and immediately M8HEXA start to move to push tower damage in the mid.
We'll see here, as up toward the top side, M8 wants to try and defend their tower, and they just go ahead and obliterate the Mulan. She's the one getting assassinated here, and you can still see the pressure here as Mike maybe looking for a dive.
Ooh,
they don't opt into it, but guess who's there?
Oh,
it's Jun,
no!
the Marcopolo, jumps in, gets 2.
We called him a terrible explorer, but he's a great shot, Opal. They just managed to grab a couple of quick kills behind the tower, 8-1, and every time it looks like M8HEXA might lose out on a play, they find a way to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
And it is accelerating to about 1,000 gold lead per minute so far in the match, as that's now going to be the 3rd tower of the game. All outers are now taken out here on the side of M8HEXA, and that allows them just full control into the map. What we see here, Myth tries to jump in, ST in the behind. You got 4 members of M8HEXA. The double knock-up into the double, just complete obliteration.
That's a yikes from me, dog. This is not looking so good for GeO, and all of a sudden we're right back to the top side. And they're going to be able to take out the upper tower. This is going to be an open path to the core. They won't finish it off just yet.
Core has shielding at the moment, but Doesn't really matter here for M8HEXA as they just go out, go into that mid lane, and continue just the rotation as they jump in. ST wants to get into the thick of the fight, gets a double stun there on the side here of Mike, but in return, Myth wants to try and jump in, but that damage coming out for the Marcopolo, just gonna go boom, 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 and gun him down instantly. And GeO, they have nowhere to run. They're stuck in their base. They're going in. They're trying to at least retaliate. Pigpen comes back on
Pew
down.
Pew's coming through.
Like it, he's put into the stable at this point. 4 members of the side of M8HEXA still alive. They're looking to add on to the kill counts, but instead the core is going to be the target. And in quick fashion, 5 minutes and 51 seconds, game 2, M8HEXA.
And that was the build-up. Last time they tried for the slow play. They reacted after that level 1 that went south for them. Opal, this time it was completely in their control from minute 1. So much heavy investment up to the top lane to try and take out the Zubaijay. It didn't mean a thing. And look at that, June, 8-0-4. That is what we call a beautiful scoreline for the Marcopolo.
Yeah, a 16 rating coming out from the post game, a 32% damage totals. A big one for me, though, is the damage taken there from ST, leading that charge as the Pig as well, getting that CC during the fights. And you saw there wasn't really ever a gold lead, and there was no objectives taken, only the 2 kills here for GeO.
Yeah, I mean, almost a perfect game if you don't account for the couple of kills that came in at the end there. And this is it. GeO just didn't quite have the same game pace. They didn't read the map, and you can't afford to do a swap in lane in a game that's this fast-paced. So they were stuck in a bad matchup on both side lanes. The mid was the only thing they could hold, and then as soon as they had to roam, they lost that too.
Yeah, so M8HEXA are going to be keeping Malaysia's hopes alive, heading possibly into the knockout stage, depending on the results later on into the day. But it's a good sign you're able to beat one of those West teams now after facing the 2 Chinese, titans of your group. Can maybe try and use some of that leverage, try and bring that into your next series, get more experience, and then maybe hope that something turns around.
All right, there's always an opportunity, but it's definitely going to be a tough climb to get yourself into that top 2 spot, but there is definitely hope for this Malaysian side. They showed a lot of strength. They showed a lot of familiarity. They know how to build the compositions that work for them. I like that they alternated damage duty effectively. Like, when they're able to not just utilize the Marcopolo, but have somebody like the Frost Mage like in Game 1, or then alternate and get the Poison Mage in there, they're able to do a lot, and they're able to have a lot of variety, and you need that. You need to be able to keep people on their toes, surprise them with who is going to be your standout carry.
We'll see here. As then our second matchup going to be coming up next quite shortly, ladies and gentlemen, as we already got our first match done here, Pyra.
We did. It was a fast one, and just checking in, making sure I got the right schedule. We will have D-Team. That is, of course, the first place qualifier, probably the favorites for this tournament coming out of China. And they're facing off against BM Gaming, our U.S. representatives. Yeah,
BM Gaming, of course, they won Valor Series last season. They went to AWC.
It is a slightly different roster. We do have to point that out. They have made a couple of changes, brought back some older players, the likes of Raw, who was with the team previously, but we're going on a break. We'll be back with that matchup in just a few.